Today, we're going to talk about how to get ahead of 99% of the people, what steps I took to go from absolute fail, 9 to 5, to having my own business, doing multiple six figures, and what are the exact steps and mindset tools I use to be able to actually achieve that and make it a reality. This video is going to be completely raw. I decided I don't want to edit anything. I want it to be extremely natural, and I want it to come from the heart. And I want to basically just give you everything that I know, everything that I do to be able to achieve that kind of success. And I'm sure you will be able to do that as well. I remember when I first started, it was basically a struggle. Let me tell you that. I decided to take my own path. I graduated as a designer and I decided to open my own dropshipping store. Right? I was seeing everyone making a lot of money online, and I was like, I'm gonna do the same. I want to go full in on this. All my family were extremely, extremely disappointed. They were like, you just graduated, from an expensive private university. Why don't you work in the field? Why don't you do that? And I was being a freelancer at that moment, and I had extra money to be able to put into the business, of course, but I didn't find a typical 9 to 5, in an office. And I was in Barcelona. I am in Barcelona, Spain. And the average salary here is like 1.5 to 2K maximum a month. And when I knew this, I was like, okay, this is not something I'm willing to settle for. There's no way I'm gonna, work in an office 9 to 5, kill my ass for 2K a month. Like, that's just not gonna happen. Everyone went against me. Everyone was beyond disappointed, very scared about the decision I'm making. But I was like, okay, I'm gonna go full in, and that's the decision I took. I made to actually go in on my dreams. First year, let me tell you, I was failing. I was surviving on the freelance work I did as a designer, but my e-commerce, my dropshipping store was completely going under. And everyone was just kept on telling me, I told you so, I told you so, you should go back to work, you should go to an office, you should go to a 9 to 5. And I kept saying, no, 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 I'm gonna make it work. And these are the exact 5 tips, 5 main tips, I would say, looking back, are the reason I was actually able to make it and tell everyone, I told you so, right? I told you so. I told you I'm going to make it, and I made it happen. So number one is I have my notes here. Again, just put my notes here because I want to make sure I don't miss anything for you guys and put some thought and intention into this. Number one, learn faster than everybody else. I think that was my secret hack. I was so passionate about learning. I was so passionate about knowledge. I was so passionate about, consuming so much content. There's so many people that say don't consume. And I agree, don't consume the wrong things, but consume the right things. You watching this video right now is actually a very good and beneficial step for yourself. That's all I do. I used to consume so much about e-commerce, about mindset, about entrepreneurs, about business owners, how they think, what are their beliefs, how do they see the world. And I would literally just do that all day. I was obsessed. I would eat lunch, watch a podcast. I hacked my algorithm. So literally right now, if you go to my TikTok, I remember my partner, her TikTok, it was like all over the place with like funny memes and stuff like that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if you see my TikTok, it's all about how to make money online, what are the best places to invest your money, how to handle money, all of the mindset shifts I needed at that moment to actually transform and become the person that is worth, multiple six figures, right? So I used to watch a lot of podcasts, hacked my TikTok, made it about watching basically effective ways around handling money. So if you want to, you need to brainwash yourself, basically. You need to brainwash yourself again because you probably learned so many things about money that are completely wrong and are the reason you're stuck where you're at. You probably have a good belief that maybe 2,000 a month is very good and you should settle for that, and you're very happy and you're very comfortable, and that's a belief. So as soon as you start shifting your belief and you start seeing, okay, there's better, bigger things out there, and you start to believe like you can actually do it, and you start understanding how to handle that money, how to handle the business, then you start up leveling, right? So podcasts, TikTok, and books are non-negotiable for me. I read 10 pages a day, every single day. That's a non-negotiable. And I don't read fiction. I actually read a lot of self-help books. I read books about finances, about the stock market, about the economy. Just the more you understand money, the more it's going to be able to come to you, because you start understanding the bigger scope of how things work, right? So get obsessed with everything that has to do with beliefs and the right mindset to be able to reach six figures, multiple six figures a month. So that's number one, learn faster than everyone else. Number two, have a clear vision. Let me tell you guys, I've heard this a lot thanks to TikTok. It's, vision boards, right? Like they say vision boards, and a lot of people laugh at vision boards. They think they're like woohoo, but actually it's not woohoo whatsoever. The more you're clear on the vision you have, the more you're able to actually reach it. I remember my first vision was to have 100K in my bank. That was like the biggest vision when I was failing, right? That was like 5 years ago. And now it's like, I can't like we're there and beyond. So it's super funny that it was just in my mind at that moment, and I was just stuck with that vision. I would like look at it every single day. I want 100K in my bank. I want 100K in my bank. I want 100K in my bank. And it suddenly, it appeared, it happened, it came into reality. And the reason why was because I was super clear on the vision. I knew what I wanted. I didn't know how I was going to make it happen at that time. I had no idea because I was failing, right? It wasn't working out. But I knew that that's the thing I wanted, and I wasn't going to stop until I get it. And that's it. That's all it takes. Have a clear vision, have a number, whatever it is, 1 million, 100K, 10K, 5K, whatever it is, start somewhere, and suddenly it's going to happen, right? You don't need to worry too much about the how. Just have a lot of clarity on the kind of life you envision for yourself, whether that's for money or that's for a partner or that's for like overall the way you want to live your life. That's basically, as soon as you have clarity over that, then you're probably going to skyrocket. It's going to happen. So one action item that I did was I did a vision board. Now the vision board I had 20 million euros on it, right? I didn't have 100K. We're not there yet, but it's going to happen. I have it right next to me, and I know it's going to happen. Like there's no doubt about that. And I can't wait to watch this video a few years down the line and, say I knew it, right? So just have that vision board and put everything that inspires you. And the reason why is because you're actually going to look at this, you're going to feel inspired, you're going to feel like it's already there. And if you feel like it's already there, you're going to come into action and act in an energy that attracts that kind of abundance, right? So for example, I want to give you guys a story that stayed in my head and is actually amazing, right? Imagine someone comes into you, hands you a check, and it's a $10 million check, right? You go to the bank, you give it to them, and they're like, whoa, like someone gave you that check. This is a real check. You're going to get $10 million. Now, listen, it takes 7 days to, get into your bank. This is just like paper stuff, but you have it. This is real. This is a real check. How would you act in those 7 days knowing you have $10 million in your bank account? Like that's guaranteed. You have it there. And basically the concept of this is knowing that you're going to reach the vision you have. How would you approach your day to day? Would you approach it with some kind of scarcity? Of course not. You got 10 million. You're safe and sound, right? You're gonna approach it with ferocity. You're gonna be like, yeah, I got this. No scarcity. Sorry. No scarcity, abundant, and you're gonna come with it with full energy. Let me drink some water. See, this is raw as it gets. Like I'm not editing anything of that, just so you guys get the full reality, full scope of things. So yeah, basically the more you know you're there already, the more likely you are to actually be there. You have to believe it so much so that it just comes to you, right? You have to come into that energy so much so that it comes to you. Now, I'm not saying, okay, you have $10 million, now you go and you spend all your money and act crazy. That's actually against, being smart about your money. Either ways, whether you have money or you don't have money, you should be smart about your money, okay? The more you care about your money, the more it will care back to you, right? As they say, I've heard that on a quote from a billionaire. money is a cruel mistress. If you don't pay attention, it will leave you. Okay, whether you're making 20K a month or you're making 2K a month. If you don't pay attention to it, it will leave you. So regardless of that, pay attention to it. Don't splurge it, and just act like it's there without the scarcity, without that scarcity, and that is what it will allow you to actually make it, a reality. Now, number 3, protect your focus like it's gold. Okay? Protect your focus like it's gold. I say this with so much love, but if you don't have right now 10K, 20K in your bank account, forget about everything else. Forget about partying, forget about having a partner, forget about everything. Lock in on your dreams, right? Lock in on your dreams. I remember that first year when I was failing, I was saying no to my friends. My partner was in a long distance, so that was perfect. Um, and I was just locked in. I would work 12 hours, 16 hours a day because I was gonna make it happen, and that was it. And the more you say no to the things that don't matter, right? The more you're gonna say yes to your dreams. I'm gonna drink a little. Damn. We're talking. That's how it is. We're talking. We're getting it real. We're getting it real. But yeah, as I say, the more you say yes to the wrong things, the more you're saying no to your dreams and your goals. So give yourself that time. Give yourself that 1 year of like where you lock in and you remove all distractions except the goal you want, and look how fast and how effective it will all be. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I'm not saying, you have to have a lot of resilience, but that's the thing that will allow you to actually go full in and make it into a reality. Now, number 4 gets me to, actually, all of these are beliefs, right? But number 4 is take action before you feel ready. And trust me when I say this, the amount of times I've been uncomfortable, the amount of times I've been super terrified, I cannot count it. I feel like I live a life of uncomfort, but I chose this life, right? It's not comfortable to put yourself, out there and just speak in front of a camera. It's not, in a day-to-day basis, right? It doesn't come to you naturally. But you put yourself out there, then it becomes comfortable, it becomes natural. It's not comfortable to go on stage and talk in front of people. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable to bet on yourself, say no to a 9 to 5 and no to security and go in on your business. It's not. It's scary. But that's what it's all about. And you have to take action before you feel ready, because you're not going to feel ready. You're actually always going to feel, whenever you're taking a big risk, you're always going to feel scared. But that scared feeling is actually the best factor to know that you're taking the right decision, right? So whenever you're about to take a big risk and you feel scared, that's okay. Allow yourself, actually embrace that feeling. Embrace that feeling of fear and go in it. Go in it. Either ways, whether you fail or you don't fail, you're going to learn. And that's how, you should look at it. You should have resilience, get back up, and then try again until you succeed. Because failure is not a failure. It's just part of the process. There's ins, outs, and then up, right? So just take action. Take massive, massive action. Don't think, like, for example, with when I first started that first year, I wasn't, testing one product, calling it today, and oh shit, it didn't work, and then I gave up on the whole thing, which a lot of people do. You have to take massive action. I was testing so many products until I found my first winner. So many. And that's the way, everything works, whether that's testing a lot of ads, testing a lot of angles, testing a lot of different businesses. Of course, being smart about it and learning from your mistakes, but take massive, massive action. Don't let failure or the fear of failure stop you. So that would be one of the biggest and best, tips I would definitely, keep in mind after this video. Now, number 5, I would say, is super important and actually impacts you in a very unconscious way, but it's very powerful. And it's to get around people that are winning. Okay. You know how they say you are the average of the 5 people that are with you? So literally, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Basically, it's the same with business. It's the same with with everything. So you probably are making an average of what the 5 people around you are making. That's just like a weird coincidence, but that's how it is. Isn't that crazy? So you got to get around people that are ahead of you. You have to actually feel smaller in the room to actually get ahead. Okay, and it's gonna feel uncomfortable. Again, it's you're not gonna feel good about it. You're gonna feel like shit. Like I need to step up, but that's a good feeling to have because that's what it takes to actually step up, and that's what it will like kick you in the butt to actually like go for it, right? I remember myself, for example, I went to this mastermind, and in this mastermind, I remember super well. It was like a small mastermind, and in that table, everyone was talking about making millions a year. And at that moment, I think I was making like 6K a month. And being in Barcelona, I thought 6K a month, I'm living the best life. You know, like in Barcelona, people around me were making 2K. So I'm like, okay, 6K, I'm like super set. Like I'm good. And when I saw that people around me were talking about millions a year, I'm like, I'm thinking so freaking small. I'm so comfortable in my little situation that I wasn't pushing myself anymore. I wasn't growing anymore. And I kind of almost forgot about that dream, right, that I had in my vision board. And so right after that mastermind, I decided to step up. And right after that mastermind, just, realizing that I was thinking small and changing that thought of like, okay, I'm not settling for this amount. I want to go way higher. I want to, generate generational wealth, have my kids taken care of in the future, have my future in such a beautiful and comfortable way, right? And right after that mastermind, I decided to step up, and suddenly we were making 20K a month. And that was just like right after that, because I decided that wasn't enough and I was going to go for more, right? So the more you sit around people that are making it happen, the more you're going to get inspired. And that's huge. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, hey, Chloe, like, where do I get these people? I don't have 5K, I don't have 10K to put into a mastermind. Like, this is not where I'm at right now. What would I do? And again, this goes back to the first one, right? Watch YouTube, consume from the people that already made it. You go to my YouTube, you're gonna see Alex Hormozy, Dan Martel, you're gonna see the biggest people in the game over and over again. They're shorts, talking about beliefs, talking about mindset, and they're gonna push you, just like this video is, they're gonna push you to a higher standard. They're gonna push you to a higher level. And that's what you want for yourself. All right. So I know this was a long video. I hope you guys like this kind of video. This is very new from the other kinds of videos I've done in the past, but I think this is more raw, more authentic, and you actually get to the gist of it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Put that notification bell on so you don't miss out. And as always, I'll catch you guys all next week.